Welcome back to Talk and Dribble, episode 33, NBA edition. Got a huge ep planned for us today, don't we, Benji?
Massive ep. We've just seen the draft lottery, so we'll have a reaction to that. Massive stuff happening. Then we'll obviously have some playoff talk, what's happening at the moment. And then we'll get into a few rankings. So we've got top 10 playoff moments of all time ranked by us. We've got Stephen Curry, top 5 playoff moments with him being absent. We're just rehashing what he's done in his past playoff history. And then we've got our percentage to win the chip. So we've numbered each team percentage-wise on who actually will win the championship. And we'll go through that. So we'll get straight into the draft lottery. Our reaction, what the hell just happened?
The NBA is officially rigged. I think we can say this. There is no way it's not. So halfway through the year, Nico Harrison and the Dallas Mavericks decide to trade away their franchise piece in Luka Doncic to the Lakers. Biggest blockbuster trade we've possibly ever seen in our lives. Yeah. And somehow today, the Dallas Mavericks find themselves with the number 1 overall pick and will be able to select a future face of the franchise, a future face of the league in Cooper Flag. You can't tell me this isn't rigged.
They've just gone from... Yeah, Luka Doncic, they had their franchise player. It made no sense. Made no sense. No one could wrap their head around why would they do this? Oh, I'll tell you why. Because the NBA were like, hey, buddy, if you send your franchise European player off to LA, get him in front of the bright lights, we'll give you the number 1 pick. We'll give you Cooper Flag. And
they take that, wouldn't they? The upside of Cooper Flag is next level.
It is.
You know what I did want to touch on, though? Quick round of applause for Mavs fans. Because they've been through it. So we'd love to see them get a bit of love because this has been a brutal few months for them.
Bro, we couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it. Dallas Mavericks had a 1.7% chance to get the number 1 pick.
It's insane. And not hash over, the Spurs have the 2nd overall pick.
Yep.
So Wemby, De'Aaron Fox, and Stephon Castle possibly could be paired with like a Dylan Harper or an Ace Bailey. Or even use that. They've got a 2nd and 14th. Either use trade down, possibly Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah,
who knows? But Philly with the 3rd pick, like that's huge as well. They're getting a new franchise piece. I feel all these lower end, low market teams, and the Charlotte Hornets get the 4th overall pick. The Utah Jazz get the 5th, and the Washington Wizards get the 6th.
Yeah. So the worst record in the NBA was Utah. They had they got the 5th. Yeah, Washington, they were the 2nd worst record. As you said, they got the 6th. And then, Brooklyn, Toronto, Washington, all these teams that were terrible.
Bro, the Bulls at 12.
The Bulls at 12, man. We had the same percentage to get the number 1 pick as Dallas did.
It's shattering.
And
I feel for you, man. I feel for you. But you just knew it was happening. As soon as the top 4 was solidified and they're just calling them out, you could literally just see what was going to happen. It was, Charlotte at 4. And then it was like between Philly or Spurs for 2 and 3. I was like, you don't know. Dallas, you just knew Dallas was getting that number 1 pick once the top 4 was solidified.
No, you could just feel it. And you're like, whoa, it actually makes sense now. It's like, well, this is probably why they traded Luka. I don't know.
They're not even hiding it. I'm sorry. I'm like, you were talking about it heavily when the trade happened. And you're like, this has to, it doesn't make any sense for the NBA not to be rigged. Especially just considering all they got no capital for that trade whatsoever. And it's like, it all makes sense now. It was a shoo-in. They just knew they're getting Cooper Flag. They get rid of Luka Doncic and they're getting Cooper Flag.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's so they'll draft him, obviously.
Yep.
So what are we looking at? Kyrie, when he's healthy.
Yep.
Cooper Flag. Well, Kyrie, Klay Thompson, Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis, Derek Lively.
Yep.
That's 3 number 1 ranked high school players. So Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, and Cooper Flag, all number 1 ranked. That's 3 number 1 picks. No. Yeah, Kyrie, AD, Cooper Flag. Yeah, 3 number 1 picks. And then one of the best shooters of all time in Klay, Derek Lively. He's just getting better and better.
Reports came out Gafford wants to be paid like a starting center, so not sure what's going to happen there.
Okay. It doesn't really matter though, honestly. It doesn't, because they've still got the pieces there on their bench.
Even if the structure of the team doesn't even work, you've got Cooper Flag.
Yeah.
Like this kid could literally be anything. He could possibly be as good offensively as a Luka Doncic. I don't think he'll be as good offensively as him, but then he is 10 times the defender. He could literally be a future decoy in the league. I just can't wrap my head around it.
But then
it's
a
crazy.
lot of the talk was like, why would you trade away your centerpiece, your cornerstone? This is why you draft, like this is what every team's aim is when they're drafting to get this franchise player. Dallas have had one before with Dirk. They had Luka, and it's like, bro, why would you trade this? This doesn't happen every draft. And then they get the number one pick to just reset it all. Like Dallas fans, they would have been the most angered franchise for the next 5-10 years because they would just be seeing their future be born out in LA. That's still, there's a factor of that. But now it's like, who cares? We're going to get Cooper Flag and everything's reset.
A part of them would be happy after seeing, like, Luka wasn't terrible in the playoffs, but by Luka's standard, he was. So Dallas fans have gone and seen Luka kind of shit the bed in the playoffs in the first round against the T-Wolves. Then a couple of weeks later, they find themselves with the number one pick. I think they deserved this. Good on the Mavs fans for getting a win. Because this would have been just a brutal few months. No wonder Nico Harrison wasn't fired.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, this has to just be planned. Like,
I don't know, man.
Because this whole time, everyone's just been asking for Nico's head. Not even Mavs fans. Like, just every fan base has been asking for Nico's head. And Dallas have just stood strong with him. And no wonder, because everyone knew, you get rid of Luka and you get the number one pick.
It's crazy. It's a crazy conspiracy theory.
It is.
If it's, if it's all rigged. It seems to be these teams that really need the number one pick always seem to get it. We got D-Rose back in 2008.
Yep.
Cleveland get LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Spurs get Wemby.
Wemby going to Spurs. That's exactly where he wanted to be. Could you actually picture Wemby in any other uniform?
Yeah.
No. And now I'm thinking about it, I can just see, literally this whole time I was like, I could see Cooper Flag in a Philly uniform or a Dallas uniform. And now he's going to be playing at Dallas.
Looking back on the trade now, who do you think, well, who would you rather? Would you rather be in Dallas' situation or would you rather be in the Lakers situation with Luka? Who wins?
It's really tough. I think it's all dependent on what the Lakers can put around Luka. So if they fail to put a really good roster around him and get him a similar roster to what the Mavs had, then I think, Mavs, like the sky's the limit now for the Mavs because no one knows what Flag could be like. And you don't have to pay him for a certain amount of years. So they would have had to throw all this money at Luka. Now they get to have Cooper Flag, reset the franchise. I don't know.
It's tough.
It's all dependent on what the Lakers do with Luka, I think.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, Lakers have a top 5 player in the league. You know that.
Yep.
Luka, this will be the worst version of Luka we see with the Lakers.
Yep.
So it's so easy to be like, Lakers are cooked. Luka's not the player he was. He's what, 26?
Yeah.
Like we know how good he can be. But then Cooper Flag is going to be a star. We know that. And they've got AD. Hopefully Kyrie is decent when he comes back. They've got this roster. They built this roster around Luka. Now it's like, okay, now the roster's now built around Cooper Flag.
Yeah.
Well,
we touched on that Mavs took their timeline from 10 plus years to like a 2-year window.
Yeah.
But now they're on 2 different windows. They're on this 2-year window with AD and Kyrie plus Cooper Flag. And then once that is done, you start a new 15 plus year window with Cooper Flag. So it's insane. You just pray that like health wise, nothing happens health wise with them. Like they've already been hit with Kyrie injury and stuff. Hopefully Flag doesn't get affected by any of that. But
now all of a sudden Dallas are a destination spot.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. I can play with Anthony Davis. I can play with Cooper Flag. Are you serious? Like Kyrie, he's only got a few years left. They could bring in another young, explosive point guard. Who wouldn't want to be on this team?
Yeah. The length of this team is going to be crazy in terms of Flag, AD, Lively, plus Gafford if he sticks around.
Yep. Even Lively. Lively has the potential to be a top 5 center.
Yeah.
He has that potential. When his scoring goes up and his defense is already elite, you pair a player like that with Cooper Flag.
Well, Flag has such a similar, I don't think he's got the ceiling of a Wemby because Wemby's a unicorn, but he's got a similar base there where it's like he could be a future MVP plus a future depoy. So, the build for him is crazy. He's so gifted offensively, so gifted defensively, he's gifted athletically. It's where you look at Luka, he's just such a good offensive player, but he has such limitations on the defensive end. So, there's no way of telling right now, but I think it's starting to finally look like a win-win for both. I don't know. You still lost your corner piece in Luka, which I don't like, but you had all these issues. Yeah, you had these issues with him. You had these issues you didn't like with his weight and stuff. You go into a bloke who looks like so far he's a super professional young bloke.
Yep.
And you're going to take him number one, not have to pay him millions and millions of dollars for the first. How long until they have to sign their rookie extension? Or
4 or 5 years?
Yeah, you have him pretty cheap for the first few years while you get to build a roster around AD and Kyrie as well. So I think Mavs are in a great spot. This just annoys me because the Western Conference is just stacked again.
I know.
They're
It's
just
just
another
so-
powerhouse by the Mavs.
It's great that he's not going to go to a team who's so shit.
Yeah.
Like when it got to those last 4 picks, it was either Philly, Spurs, Dallas, or Charlotte.
Yeah.
And Charlotte had the highest
Yeah.
odds to actually get it. And thank God he didn't go to
knew
Charlotte.
he wasn't going to Charlotte.
Thank God he didn't go to Washington. Thank God he didn't go to Brooklyn,
Or Utah.
Toronto, Utah. And he's now going to be in. This is the second year in a row that a playing team has got the number 1 pick.
But this is just where it falls to like, is it rigged and stuff? Because like, it's just got everyone talking about the lottery. So everyone was talking about the trade halfway through the year with Lakers Mavs. And now the lottery's finished and everyone's talking about that now because the Mavs have just somehow turned this all around with a stroke of genius or a stroke of luck.
Oh, it's either,
like-
incredibly lucky or it's
Yeah.
like, what is going on behind the
Or
scenes?
Adam Silver is a genius and just knows how to wheel these NBA fans in,
Yeah.
like what he's doing to us. But it's insane. But yeah, there's really no way of telling until the season
Yeah, it
starts,
is
until
hard to
we
know.
see how. It's going to just be really dependent on. I think it's really dependent on what Rob Pelinka and the Lakers can put around Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
If they can successfully get the perfect team around him, go get him a center, go get him all these pieces. Like that's the thing. If Gafford is talking about wanting to be paid like a true center, and they're not set on that, and they're set with Lively, Flag, and AD, Lakers could make a play at going to get a Gafford. You know that's worked before. Oh, so there's a lot of moving pieces to go along with, and there's a lot to unfold in the next few months.
It'll be interesting to see how good Cooper Flag is early because with just all the salary cap changing every year, it's going up and there's so many restrictions now with the salary cap and you're going to see that with Boston and when free agency hits. But you don't have large windows like you did, like the Warriors did for those, 5-6 years. They kept most of the core. You don't have these big windows to have the same team anymore because everyone wants to get paid. Everyone's getting paid, but there's these restrictions. If you get over that second apron, there's just so many roster restrictions, drafting, trading.
Yep.
So everyone wants to get paid, and you don't have all these years to actually stick with the same core. So it'll be interesting to see if Cooper Flag is as good while he's not getting paid, and they can keep these other pieces around him if they win early.
If he can come in and produce to similar like what Paolo has produced as a first round pick, or like just like literally what Anthony Edwards has produced as a first round pick before getting paid, the Mavs should take that. If he can do something of that, or you'd expect him to probably exceed that because he's a better prospect than them. Mavs are serious contenders in this Western Conference if they stay healthy. Yes. No, you go.
You love to see it. Like you love to see these big franchises get these big franchise players.
Yep.
Like he would have put a Charlotte on the map. He would have put a Washington on the map, but already an established franchise.
Yep.
It's great to see. And Dallas is just going to be back up there again.
Yeah. I just can't wrap my head around it. It's actually crazy to think about. Like, I don't know what I'd want. I don't know if I want this to just be pure luck or if the NBA actually is rigged because I don't know. I don't know if Nico Harrison's secretly a genius and just planned all this or he's the luckiest man alive. But
I think
either
it's
way,
probably that second one. But like, how can you can't plan this. It's just whether, there's a bit shady stuff going on or it's just incredibly lucky. Because it's not the first time this has happened. But
yeah. But we're happy for Mavs fans. Very happy for Mavs fans because it's been tough for them. So good on them getting themselves back on track. But NBA lottery, who would have thought it'd be this controversial? No one's even been drafted yet and we're talking about it.
Well, look, last year the Dallas Mavericks were in the championship.
Yep.
And now they have the number 1 pick.
That's
this is an absurd league. It's insane. It's why we love it.
It's why we love the lottery.
But it's why we hate it as well. I was like, look, Bulls, we're a chance. Bulls got the number 1 pick last year. We're a chance. We're in the exact same posse. Atlanta lost the first playing game. We're eliminated. We're the exact same thing. And we shit the bed and got 12th pick. So.
Hey, you never know. You might get a stud there. Probably not. But fingers crossed. But we should touch into some playoffs.
Yeah.
Because the playoffs are going on. Currently, while we're filming, it's Knicks v Boston, game 4.
Yep.
Live score check on that. What are we looking at?
think
It is 62-51 at halftime. So, with Boston being up. So, but round 2 has been pretty hectic.
Yeah,
very unpredictable.
Should we start with the Boston Knicks series? Just
100%.
touch on it quickly. I think Boston are going to win this series. I think they'll win today. Honestly, whoever wins today, I reckon will win the series. But I think Boston are surely going to win it. We've watched majority of these. No, we watched all of game 3. watched majority of the other two games. They
They're
are
the
so
better
much
team.
better. I'm sorry,
They are.
Arrow. I'm sorry.
Hate to do it, but
Knicks are like in the clutch break. Give me Knicks every day of the week. Jalen Brunson is just a god when you're closing out games. But as a whole team aspect, if Boston are hitting threes, they're hitting shots, which
They're
they have
unstoppable.
proven that they won a championship doing it, they're going to win.
Yeah.
Knicks don't
And
have the
we
offensive
We
firepower.
said this last week was like the one thing that the Knicks will benefit from is getting into the clutch against Boston because you'd have much more trust in Brunson than you would in Tatum and Brown to go get your clutch points.
Yeah.
And that's what Knicks have done really well at doing. You're talking about they've played 3 games and they've experienced 3 20-point deficits at some point.
Yeah.
Somehow they won 2 of them, which we have no idea how. But it was like, it wasn't off Boston playing bad basketball, I don't think. It was just off Boston missing open looks.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, they got forced into difficult looks at times and stuff, and in the clutch, they were abysmal. But it wasn't like Knicks were going on this huge run to chip away at Boston in those 2 games. It was just
incrementally chipping as Boston just kept missing. And
missing
it
open
was
looks.
bad on Boston's behalf because they weren't really making any adjustments.
Yeah.
And game 3, they definitely drove the ball way more. Like the volume of threes wasn't there. They hit way more, but they actually didn't take as many as they had in game 1 and game 2. But they hit shots. And that's just the
Mazzulla
difference.
adjusted. He was better. He was quicker to call timeouts and stuff as well when a run was on, which I think is pretty much his whole coaching philosophy has been huge on letting Boston play it out, let them figure it out on the court while it's happening. And you got to go series to series. You can't stick with your original game plan from each series. And I think he's starting to adjust, which the good coaches do.
Yep.
But yeah, today's a massive game. If Knicks win 3-1, I'm backing in the Knicks to just win one of the next 3 games. But I don't know. Boston win, that means they've just won 2 in a row in New York. Heading back to Boston, have a chance to go up 3-2
It'll be
is
tough.
concerning.
It'll be
But
tough. But I think
crazy.
this series, so I've been high on Jason Tatum, but I think this series is showing why he's not a top 5 player in the league. The way he closes out games, compared to other superstars especially, he just does not have that
So
killer instinct
got
like a lot of other players do.
Jokic, Giannis, Shea,
I'd still have Luka.
Luka.
Just like we've said, him at his best, he's definitely top 5 player. And then I'd have Ant over him, honestly. I'd have Ant probably at the 5. The way he takes over games.
And can take over a game. That's definitely one thing. Defensively and offensively, he's got that X factor that can really just turn a game on its head just with his athletic
Just
ability.
the way Tatum takes a back seat in these games.
Yep.
You don't see that a lot from superstars. Like it's concerning when you can't actually rely, like for Boston fans, you can't rely on your best player to be, okay, we're up by 20 and we're in an offensive hole right now. We can't get anything going. But Tatum just constantly being passive and waiting for someone else to do something, waiting for Jalen Brown who can't dribble
It's
the ball
even-
to do something.
Like, I know, like, when you're talking about best players and you bring up, like, this fear factor, it's really hit and miss, and you can kind of throw an eye at it and just be like, oh, well, it doesn't really mean much. But if you're a Boston fan or if you're versing Boston, there's no real fear that Tatum's going to go destroy you or go take over a game where you've got that with an Anthony Edwards. You've got that with a Jokic. You've got that with a Shea, with a Brunson.
Yeah.
These players, you actually are scared. If it comes down into the clutch, it's like, shit, how are we going to stop these blokes from getting to their spot? Tatum is, for someone who's 6'7", is so conservative with his size, with his length. He settles way too much, which these other blokes don't.
But
Like,
it's bizarre. Like
and if he doesn't have his shot going, he's going to get downhill and go freaking dunk on you like he did in that Warriors game. Had a shocker. Ended up with 36 points against the Warriors and just kind of switched it. Brunson can be struggling. And then just in that clutch, you know they're going to get to their spots. You know they're going to do anything possible to go get a bucket for their team where, I don't know, Tatum just doesn't have that about him.
No, and that's not all what defines how good of a player you are, like just the clutch, like how you are in the clutch, but it is a massive part. And when you see in the playoffs, he's done it quite a bit.
Yep.
Like at the end of the day, he's made conference final every year. So he's outstanding. But in terms of top 5 player, you wouldn't see any of these other players do that. Steph Curry.
Yeah.
In the biggest moments, he is the one stepping up. He is the one just taking over games.
They're not going to be able to do it every time, but they consistently are there to do it. Where Tatum has consistently shown he takes a back seat. So it's not like he's done, like he's had games where he's taken over, but it's just overshadowing too much. He takes a back seat to like a Jalen Brown, or to like a Derek White.
That's why last season, Jason Tatum actually probably didn't get the Finals MVP. He was better in every statistical category than Jaylen Brown in the Finals. But if you were watching, you could tell Jaylen Brown was the man. He was the one stepping up when they needed to. When the games got close, Jaylen Brown was the one who was like, buddy, I'm taking
Tatum's
charge.
getting number 1 option shots, where Brown's getting number 2 option shots, and the statistics between them weren't different enough to really overshadow that Brown's had a better series. So it's concerning because I thought he's had a really good season and really established himself in that top tier of players.
Yep.
And then once again, the playoffs have come and he's taken a back seat and really struggled.
But then ultimately, they've shown that they can win a championship with him being like that.
Yeah,
so he's
100%.
still amazing, and he's definitely a top 7, top 8 kind of player in the league. But anyway.
Shock of the round 2, though, is Pacers sitting 3-1 up on the Cleveland Cavaliers and absolutely blew them out yesterday with a lead of 41 at halftime. What is going on with the Cavs? I know they've been demolished by injuries but they had a full healthy squad game 4.
I know, it's tough.
Obliterated.
It's tough to game. You get rhythms in these playoff series, like, you feel each other out and basically have missing 2 or 3 of their best players in those first 2 games at home, and then they came out, stunned the Pacers in game 3, and then game 4, the Pacers just figured them out and just came out of the gates just rolling, and it was too much.
Once you build yourself a hole like that where you go 0-2 down after having home court advantage, it's very easy for a game like that to happen away. You're going into Indiana. Yeah, you got the first dub, but it's so easy to happen where they get on top of you early. You're against this home court advantage. It's tough to fight back off that if you don't have the crowd on your side. So this is why taking care of home court is so pivotal in these playoffs. You really got to capitalize on that. But I didn't see this coming. I did pick the Pacers to win after game 1. I think I picked them in 6. But I didn't expect this series to actually shape up the way it has.
I know, it's bizarre. Pacers, I think Halliburton deserves his flowers. Yep. He is just proving that he is one of the best point guard, one of the best ball distributors in the league.
Yep.
And he's shown that he's pretty clutch.
Yep.
But Indy's role players, man.
Huge.
Last season, they were the reason why this team was so deep. Like, you know what you're going to get from Siakam, Halliburton, Turner. But these blokes, Naismith, Andrew Nembhard, this is the 2nd year in a row his production has essentially doubled from regular season to postseason. Obi Toppin, TJ McConnell, Benedict Mathurin. Yes, he got ejected the other day, but funny, he's an offensive weapon.
That was weird. Like, I know he gave him a little punch to the gut, but then DeAndre Hunter came over and pushed the shit out of him. And then he gets a tech and Mathurin's ejected. I found that really weird, but But
I didn't understand that. I thought there was, when I saw the initial footage of Mathurin's little punch, I thought, there's got to be more. There's got to be another angle that shows there's a bit more aggressiveness or a bit more intention. It looked like just a kind of a little cheeky little.
They said it was round up and everything and full connection. And you saw Rick Carlisle full losing it at the refs, literally complaining about. He's like, how can you say there's round up when he literally just went like that?
And then round up. DeAndre Hunter just lined him up and then just full decked him.
Pointed at him, stared at him, and then just shoved the shit out of him. And then also giving Turner
a tech as well in the middle of that. Crazy. He's just sticking up for his teammate. Yeah. It was a bizarre one. Obviously, had no impact on the game because Pacers just ran out the clock.
And Hunter was just getting booed from there, and it was pretty funny.
But we love the spiciness of the series.
We love these new rivalries.
Well, Halliburton, Pacers, they get into it. Halliburton talks a lot of trash. Yep. Pacers, every series they seem to have problems.
He just messes with blokes. Nembhard, secretly a bit of a shit stirrer as well. So they've got blokes who are willing to push the boundaries a bit, and I love it. I'm loving this Pacers squad.
We love it. We love it.
Possibly the best series right now, though. Denver v OKC tied at 2-2. So both of them took one game at the other team's home court.
Definitely missed an opportunity. They were up 8 in the fourth quarter. I for sure thought they were actually going to close it out, and Thunder, they showed for a young team. I was like, this is the big test. Do they have? They don't have that old head veteran to square them up and be like, okay, let's take charge of this fourth quarter. And they were playing a more experienced team, a championship winning team. And the young blokes, they prevailed. They came back and squared up the series. That was the biggest quarter of their season, and they won it.
One concerning thing, though, for the Thunder is right now, playoff Shea isn't a thing. His points are down by 5 right now, currently shooting 23% from 3. But that's not even his biggest issue right now. It has been his playmaking. Yeah. We expected this to be this crazy MVP battle between Jokic and Shea. Both of them have heavily underperformed. But mainly in the clutch, Shea's playmaking has really been awful. Like they're talking, they've thrown a lot of zone at OKC, and he's just dribbling the air out of the ball, trying to go 1-on-1, forcing just bad shots. When there was a moment in Game 3 when Denver made another run and somehow won the game, but Jalen Williams had about 15 points in the fourth quarter.
Damn.
And he refused to feed him the ball coming into the clutch and decided to take this terrible little foul baiting shot to try and win him the game, which wasn't it. It's just been numerous times throughout these playoffs. He's playmaking. I don't know what's happened. He's taken a big step back with that and forced the load a lot with
he's
his
definitely
offense.
not getting his role players involved as
No.
much. And like we're talking about Chet Holmgren, we're talking about Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, Caruso, Hartenstein, like players, not just role players.
Their
like
depth has been a big part for them that
exactly.
they should have been abusing Denver with. But when he's stagnant, dribbling the air out of the ball, trying to go 1-on-1 consistently against good perimeter defenders, like Russ has been on him quite a bit. He's a good perimeter defender. Brown, good perimeter defender. When you're doing this, it just stops the entire flow of what they've built all year. So, I don't like what I'm seeing from Shea right now. I think his play style actually isn't translating too well to this postseason right now. His shot has been pretty average, and playmaking has taken a massive dip these playoffs.
Yeah, and we're going to need to see a bit more out of their role players, like out of the rest of their starting lineup, especially if they're going to have any chance at actually winning the whole thing. But that does start from Shea's playmaking. He's the all-dominant guard. He needs to get his teammates involved. But Chet, he definitely needs to step up, at least from a scoring perspective. He's doing a great job. Him, Hartenstein, and Jalen Williams are doing a great job on Jokic. Jokic's efficiency has just dropped.
Defensively, they're so strong. Yeah. They are doing so well. They're just throwing bodies at him.
Yeah, and they're such a good team in rotation. Like even when Jokic finds the open man, he only had 3 assists the other day. 3 assists for Jokic, a man who averaged double-digit assists. So, and he only shot 31% from the field, 7 of 22.
That's the scary part, though, is he's playing so bad, and this series is so close. So if he has a game where he goes nuclear, like you know that he can turn it up a lot more than Shea can.
Yep.
So it's concerning for OKC. I still think, right now them winning Game 4 is huge, and I think that gives them the nod right now over Denver to win this series, heading back to OKC.
Yeah,
but
I think I'm picking Thunder from here. Yeah. I'd be very surprised if Denver win 2 of the next 3.
Yep.
But look, they have shown actually more than I thought they would. I thought OKC would win this in probably 5. But I'll tell you what, Aaron Gordon deserves his props.
Yep.
He's probably the best riser in the playoffs. He's been one of the best. He's just completely transformed his shooting, and it has been a massive, massive tool for the Nuggets. That essentially won them the game in Game 3.
Yep.
And he's become probably the most reliable perimeter shooter for Nuggets that Jokic can deliver the ball to.
Yeah.
Like Jamal Murray
so good.
has his moments.
He's
still
the ultimate
consistent
role player for him right now, but then it's like, he's just playing the perfect role for the Nuggets. Defensively as well, super strong. The last series as well, though, is T-Wolves v Warriors. We built it up to be such a good series, and we've just been flattened by the injury of Steph Curry. Even though I'm a T-Wolves fan, this is the last thing you want to see, because watching this series isn't fun.
Yeah.
Because we're just expecting that we need to win every game now. But there's I'm just watching it super frustrated, because if we play shit, I'm like, then how are we losing right now to this Warriors team? There's no way we should lose a game when they don't have Steph Curry. So it's super frustrating watching this. Looking at it, I think Warriors would probably be my favorite to win the chip if Steph was healthy right now. I think they're the one real set in stone squad that just has a great balance of young talent and veterans to really go all the way.
It's
and
just such a shame. It's
such
such a shame. Like we only have so many Steph Curry playoff series left. He's 37. And they did so well transforming the squad since the Jimmy trade, getting him to a position, winning round 1 in 7 games. Steph Curry is just balling out. And for him to get that hamstring injury, it's shattering. I still I'm trying to have faith in Jimmy, in Draymond, in Steve Kerr. Use their playoff experience just to get one game. Give these guys a chance. But it feels like Minnesota. It feels like it's going to be a Minnesota 5-game win. Like I can't see Warriors putting together.
We need to do that. Like we need to finish it in 5, 100%. Especially with the way, like if we want to win this, we need to do it before Steph gets back. But then even with the way this Denver OKC series looks like it's panning out, we can finish this in 5, and that series possibly go to a 7-game series. That's another 5-game series we're dealing with, where another team who we're coming diverse is coming off a 7-game series. So,
and the deeper the playoffs goes, the more that takes a toll on teams who have played longer series. 100%. And
Wanted to quickly, we've shown a few props to him the last few weeks, but he deserves it again. And want to show just some crazy love to Julius Randle. His improvement in the playoffs from where he was at the Knicks to what he's doing for us right now, coming off a 24, 12, and 10 game for the T-Wolves, was easily our best player in Game 3. It was super incredible. But in these last 2 games in the playoffs, he has created 108 of the 219 points for the Timberwolves.
Damn.
So he's contributing to 49.3% of the Timberwolves scoring, which is insane. So via passing and scoring. Just wanted his ability to do that as a number 2 option when Ant's very ball dominant and the ball's actually not in Julius's hands as much as you'd expect. Like every time he's getting it, throughout the season he's been super inconsistent with his ball use. These playoffs, he's having no wasted possessions.
No.
I'm loving it. He's really turning up, and I thought this would be a series he'd really struggle going up against a Draymond Green. And early in the series, he was forcing the load quite a bit, just attacking him early in the shot clock, where it's like, that's not really what we need. He's really settled, and he's having the best series for us. Like, he's been our best player so far. So I wanted to show him a bit of love. He is doing just insane stuff for a bloke.
And that's another kind of redeemed trade.
Yeah.
Like Minnesota,
Again.
New York. Everyone said Knicks won the trade easily.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden, like Knicks are, they're 2-1 up on Boston right now. But and Karl Anthony Towns is balling. But Julius Randle, he's kind of redeemed himself a little bit.
Imagine a world, Knicks v T-Wolves finals.
Jeez.
How crazy would that be? Oh my God.
That'd be insane.
That'd be crazy. That would actually be insane. That would
it's
feed
just-
families for generations. But fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I want to show him a bit of love because he's just really the bright spot in a series where we've got a lot of players struggling. So hats off to him.
All right, so should we move on to our percentages to win the chip?
Yeah, that's far
so
away.
this all equals 100%, right?
100%.
That's what I've done at least.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want me to go first?
Yeah, far away.
So at 8, I've got the Cavs at 5%.
Yep.
7, I've got the Warriors, 8%.
Ooh, okay.
6, got the Pacers, 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Knicks, 10%. The Denver, I got them at 12%. Timberwolves at 15%. OKC at 15%. And Boston at 25%.
Okay.
I have Boston as my favorite right now.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Obviously, if Knicks win right now, that number is gonna be looking very stupid. But I'm holding strong on Boston.
Yeah, that's a great call. All right, with mine, bit disrespectful, but with him out, I've got the Warriors sitting at just 1% to win the chip. I think this series is pretty much done and dusted. And if Steph was playing, they'd probably nearly have the best percentage ever. But
God, I hope they win today and beat you.
hey,
blokes.
bro, I wouldn't even be too mad. I'm not gonna lie. I would love to see this be a good series, but I think right now I think the Warriors are in shambles. Cavs sitting at 5%, Knicks sitting at 10%, Pacers sitting at 15%, along with the Denver Nuggets at 15%. Boston Celtics just a little touch off my next, sitting with 19% to win the chip. And then OKC sitting in second with 20% to win the chip. And then my championship favorites sitting at 25% is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
God.
I'm telling you, the run we've got from here is just beautiful. We could possibly be coming out of a 2-5 game series heading into the Western Conference with plenty of rest, with the most exciting player in the comp right now. With just possibly the best player in the West right now.
You just wanted to do the segment just to show that Minnesota
Timberwolves are the
title
favourites to win the championship.
That's crazy.
And it's basically just a book it. Book them going to the finals this year.
Credibility of the show has gone downhill.
I'm telling you, everyone laughs now. We did our bracket at the start of the playoffs, and I did pick Minnesota to make the championship. Benny picked us to be a first round exit. Look how that's panned out, and it looks like we might be getting out of the second round as well. So everyone laughed. Everyone talks when they're up.
Whatever. You flog.
Back in, T-Wolves making the chip.
Well, speaking of that series, Steph Curry, he's out. We miss him. I thought I'd put together, just to reminisce, make us feel better, us Steph Curry lovers, make us feel better. I'll put together his top 5 playoff moments.
Yep.
I'm going to go through this, all right? So number 5, got 2019 Western Conference Finals, Game 4 against the Blazers. This was no KD, no Iggy, 37 points, 13 rebounds, 11 assists. It was a triple-double, closed out the sweep against Portland. I remember back then, they were picking, Portland were people were kind of picking them to be the Warriors because they had all these injuries. Steph Curry was like, guys, I'm that guy. That was crazy.
Dame can't beat me. Oh, I love that. That's quality.
Number four, 2023 first round, game 7 against the Kings. Steph Curry goes for a 50 ball. Wardell sets the record for the most amount of points in the game 7 history. He single-handedly buried the Kings. That was the 3-seed Kings that year. On the road. Kings wanted to light that beam. He was like, no, bro. The lights are out.
Lights are well and truly out. And that was the end of the Sacramento Kings franchise as we know it.
I've not seen him since. Number 3, 2022 finals, game 6 versus the Celtics. So he had 34 points, 6 threes, clinched his first finals MVP. It was emotional. This sealed his legacy. And this was at Boston. This was away again.
Nate.
And so that was his 4th chip. And Steph finally got his finals MVP.
Oh, good on him.
Number 2, I'm back. I'm back, baby. What was it? Game 4, Western Conference semifinals 2016 against the Blazers. So Steph, he was injured, and then he came back, dropped 40 points off the bench, 17 of those in overtime. And I'm back. Beat the Blazers. It was a legendary return game, and had the Blazers number again. When didn't he?
Bro, Dame just never stood a chance.
No. And then the best Steph Curry moment of his career in the playoffs, 2022 NBA Finals, Game 4 against Boston. 43 points, 10 rebounds, 7 threes. Put the Warriors on his back, 2-1 down. They were from behind, a legacy cementing performance. I remember it was basically him and Wiggins, Poole chipping in, but no one else was doing anything. Steph Curry just stepped up.
Right, they were down and out. That series, they were down and out.
Right.
And that is literally one of the greatest performances I've ever seen from an individual in my life.
Insane.
We miss Steph Curry.
We really do.
He's versus my T-balls, and I just miss him.
That's why
it doesn't feel right.
I had to put that together and
I
be
love
like,
it.
bro.
That needed to be done. We needed to show Steph a bit of love. We haven't shown him as much love on this pod, so I absolutely love that.
We do love that.
That's quality.
So that's a ranking, and guess what? I've got another ranking for you. Got another one. So I was going to put together top 5 what if they were healthy teams, but then I was like, oh shit, there's way more than that. So I actually got 9. So 9 what if
9 times
9 teams if they were healthy, what if? Okay.
All right.
So number 9, I've got Derrick Rose and the Chicago Bulls back in 2011. If he didn't MVP D Rose, if he didn't do his ACL, what could have been?
That's and he's just the biggest what if player ever. So yeah.
Well, the number 1 seed that year. We have not been back. We have not been that good since. So D Rose, massive.
Sad times for the Bulls fans. Yeah.
Number 8, IT with Boston. They were the 1 seed that year. What was it, 2017? He was just about one of the best point guards in the league. It was Curry, and he was probably the next best. He was in the conversation with Curry and Dame and Westbrook and Chris Paul. He was insane. And he had that hip injury. He tried to play through it, just wasn't working.
Just wasn't happening.
What if he was healthy? Could IT have been a leader on a championship team? We don't know.
Boston did him so dirty, man.
So dirty.
So dirty.
Number 7, LA Clippers with Kawhi.
Yep.
Every year.
Yeah, just this whole
This is the first time we've seen him actually lose healthy.
Yeah.
Every year they've been could they win it? And he gets healthy in the playoffs. So it was good to see him back this year. He's probably a bit too old to lead a team to a championship, but Clippers with Kawhi.
That. Yeah, that could have been anything.
Yep. Number 6, Boston Celtics with Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward, 2017.
Still the worst game I've ever witnessed is the day that Gordon Hayward went down. That broke the NBA world's heart.
Yep.
He just never recovered.
Opening day against the Cavs. It was Kyrie against his old squad. He's joined forces with Gordon Hayward. They had this star-studded team.
Just young Tatum, young Brown. Oh, it could have been anything. 100%. That could have just changed the whole landscape of the NBA future right there.
Absolutely. Boston, they built this squad, and we never saw Gordon Hayward back at his best, and it was shattering.
People forget how good he was. Yep. Oh, I love that.
That was number 6. Number 5, Cleveland with Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, and Kevin Love back in 2015. That first Warriors-Cleveland matchup. It went to 6 with LeBron averaging, a 35-point triple-double.
People tend to forget that LeBron had to take on the Warriors without those two, don't they?
With Matthew Dellavedova roaming around. We love Dally, but it's just bro, LeBron had no one else. Yeah. And what if they won that? What if LeBron gets his 5th chip?
Yep.
What if
it'd still be the GOAT?
Curry and the Warriors don't win that first chip? Do they go on to the dynasty? It's insane, all these sliding door moments.
Yep.
Number 4, Brooklyn Nets with KD, Kyrie, and Harden.
Yep.
Bro, it's insane. This big three played what, under 20 games together? They hardly played.
They had a record of what was it, I think they lost 2 games together or
Yeah.
something. They could have been anything. It sucks because all of them are healthy now. All of them are playing good basketball just elsewhere. Well, obviously, Kyrie just went down, but they all went through a phase of playing really good basketball at the same time, just not together.
Not together.
Could have been something special.
Yeah, they almost, it took 7 games for the Bucks to beat them, and KD's toe on the line.
KD's toe.
And
drink them feet, man. Drink them feet.
Anyway, number 3, Warriors with Kevin Durant in 2019. That would have been a 3-peat. That probably would have seen Steph Curry get his Finals MVP then. Does that mean Warriors win 5 chips in their dynasty? Where would
Does that
have?
keep them together?
Does that keep them together? That's insane. Like if obviously Clay, you can put him in that as well, almost like KD and Clay. But if KD didn't get injured, Clay probably wouldn't have got injured. It was just all just not meant to be that year. But that's a massive sliding doors moment. How do you see KD and his legacy? 3 chips, Curry 5. It's crazy. Number 2, the Spurs with Kawhi Leonard, 2016.
Yep.
Against the best team in the league. No, was that 2017? No, it was 2017 because Zaza Pachulia was on that team.
Zaza, man,
So
just breaking ankles out
2017,
here.
it was against KD, Curry, Clay, and all of a sudden the Spurs would just come out and be like, guys, we don't care. We don't give a fuck.
We literally have the claw.
Yeah.
Who, in his prime, he could have easily just been the best player in the league.
And
He was so good.
And they send Zaza Pachulia just to break ankles. And that was,
I've got a mate who still is narky over that. He will never get over that situation.
Well, the Spurs
Hey,
never
it's
quite
fair too.
recovered from that, have
No,
they?
that's right. They've got Wemby now. They'll be fine.
And the number 1 is the Rockets with Chris Paul back in 2018. They were 3-2 up on the KD, Steph, Clay, Draymond Warriors. Chris Paul does his hamstring, and the Warriors go to win the series. The Rockets had them figured out. It was insane. I hated that Rockets team, but they had them figured out, and it actually took a Chris Paul injury and a historically bad shooting game in Game 7 at Houston for the Warriors to just get over the hump.
They were the only team throughout that entire run that actually had their number.
Yep.
Cavs never stood a chance against that Warriors team. Never. It got to the finals and they already had won.
Yep.
Warriors already had it booked. That was, I know, bro. That's the only time I think Warriors fans have ever been nervous while KD was there, apart from that Toronto series.
Yep.
Bro, that's some huge what ifs.
I know.
I know. We hated that Houston team. So much hatred towards them. But, bro, that's good.
Yeah, so I've just done a second ranking, but I've got a third one for you, just to finish off.
Ranking.
Do you have anything else?
No, we'll finish off after this.
Third
ranking.
one. I'll smash through this.
Whew. So many rankings.
You're so lucky today.
Oh my days.
Top 10 playoff moments.
Oh my.
Okay. As I was doing the Steph Curry ranking, I'm like, wow, there's just been so many good playoff moments. So I'll go through from 10 to 1, the top 10 playoff moments since 2010.
Yep.
Because there's so many. Number 10, LeBron's 45, 15, and 5 game against the Celtics. 2012 Eastern Conference Game 6.
Yep.
Down 3-2, haters loud, LeBron locked in and dismantled Boston. That essentially just it was era defining. That was his coming out. This is his career saving game almost for LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9, Giannis's 50 piece in the finals. 2021 Game 6. To win a championship, he dropped a 50 piece
of nuggets as well after that.
And he even had 5 blocks that game. That was closed out the title with just a generational performance.
Yeah, love it.
Number 8, Clay's Game 6, 2016 Western Conference Finals versus Thunder. 41 points, 11 3-pointers, saved the Warriors from elimination, and sparked that comeback.
Game 6 Clay.
Number 7, Luka's game winner versus the Clippers, 2020 bubble playoffs. Game 4, step back 3 at the buzzer in overtime, 43-point triple-double that game. That was his first playoff series for his career, and he did that.
Nico Harrison saw that and was like, you know what, we don't want him. We don't want him. We don't want
We're
this.
getting Cuba flag. Number 6, Jimmy Butler's 56 points versus the Bucks in 2023 first round Game 4. So that was, he cooked the 1 seed, dragged Miami back into that series, and that was one of the best pure scoring nights I've ever seen.
That was crazy. Playoff Jimmy at the Heat is one of the best players we've ever seen.
Hall of Fame playoff Jimmy Butler.
It's crazy.
Number 5, Kawhi's buzzer beater versus the Sixers. 2019 semi-conference finals, Game 7, 4 bounces, silent arena, history made. First ever Game 7, buzzer beater in NBA history.
That Philly team could have been anything.
Could have been.
Oh, yeah.
Number 4, Steph Curry's 50-point Game 7 against Sacramento. We've touched on that. Most points ever in a Game 7. Eliminated the Kings basically by himself. Masterpiece. Number 3, Damian Lillard's walk-off 3 against the Thunder. 2019 first round. From the logo, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
OKC sent them home.
Hey, PG said it was a bad shot, so.
Yeah. Coldest game winner of the era. Pretty bad shot, eh?
Right, and then that photo of him just getting tackled. He's just laying there.
The coldest.
Just the coldest man ever.
Number 2, LeBron's block on Iguodala. 2016 Finals, Game 7, tied game, under 2 minutes. LeBron chases Iggy down for the all-time defensive play, the block.
Curry to Iguodala. Blocked by James. Blocked by James. Crazy.
And number
give me
1,
chills.
the top 10 playoff moment since 2010. Number 1, Ray Allen's game-tying 3. 2013 Finals, Game 6. Down 3-2, Heat on the brink of losing. Ray Allen backpedals after a LeBron James missed 3.
Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Bang!
Tied game with 5 seconds remaining. Oh, orgasmic stuff.
Oh, just cream everywhere.
And he won the
Best
title in
times
Game
ever.
7. So,
Oh,
anyway,
what a
that
series.
is top 10 playoff moments.
Sorry, that's a great list. That is a great
Thank
list.
you.
I love it.
I was happy with that list. I just had to get it out.
Very good. Very good. Right, well, that concludes our ep.
That
What a
concludes
great
it.
way to finish up.
Great. Makes you feel good about yourself.
Hopefully there's a few moments in these playoffs that we will reminisce at some point as
Absolutely.
well. Aaron Gordon's big dunk could be one that's at some point.
Yep.
Anthony Edwards when he hits a buzzer beater to win the championship. That's probably going to be up
Yeah,
there.
sure.
But, just great moments. Great moments. and
Anyway,
great moments to come.
thanks for tuning in, Dribblers. That's
Yes,
another
sir.
NBA ep done. Tune into our socials, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Watch the full version on YouTube. Listen to the full ep on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, squad.
100%. We out.